Welcome to Strategy and Tragedy. I'm your host, Stephanie Melodia, and what you're about to listen to is actually not an episode of Strategy and Tragedy. It is, in fact, an episode from my new show that I'm so excited to release with my co-host, Tash Rebuck, called The S Word. It's the dirty word in business and yet the lifeblood to any business. It is sales. Tash herself is a sales specialist, formerly stand-up comedian, so hilarious. And that's our goal with this show, is to both educate as well as entertain. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a sales director, chief revenue officer, honestly, I think if you're in business, then you're in sales. This is the show for you. If you enjoy it, you know what to do. We would love for you to hit that follow, subscribe button. I'm not going to be posting all the episodes on here. I'm just posting a few to give you guys a bit of a flavor. So do go and seek out the show itself. It's called The S Word. The artwork is a lilac-y purple color and it's got both mine and Tash's faces on it. So hopefully not too hard to find. Anyway, really hope that you subscribe on that new show. In the meantime, hope you enjoy what you're about to hear. Welcome to the S word, the dirtiest word in business. It is sales. We are so happy to have you here. If this is the first time you are tuning in, then I can only apologise. If you're
fucking nervous, bugger.
If you're tuning back in, it is so awesome to have you here. And this is a very special episode. So you've picked a very good one to tune into because we are joined by our first guest.
The first guest.
She's sandwiched between us. Ladies and gents, please make some noise for Cien Solon, who is the co-founder and CEO of LaunchLemonade, which is described as the Canva of AI apps. There are so many tools out there now, and LaunchLemonade puts them all in one place. Cien can do better than me on that elevator pitch. Can I also say that you've closed your fundraise?
Yes, we closed our fundraise.
She is now in a tiny minority of not only being a female founder, having raised capital for her tech startup, but also ethnic minority. It's like that percentage keeps getting smaller and smaller. She's breaking the mold in more ways.
Leave some success for the rest. As diverse as it gets.
She's our United Colours of Benetton poster child.
Making us two whiteys look very
white.
Close up.
I'm feeling like Snow White sat right here.
You look like the Once Upon a Time Snow White.
I look like Snow White crossed with Rizzo from Greece right now, with this curly, outgrown pixie. There are worse things I could do.
There are worse things I could do.
That is so good. Oh my God, it's so accurate.
Anyway, let's dive in.
It's fair to put a disclaimer, which I think is almost unnecessary at this point, that we're all mates. As the AI expert, could I just ask a very important question that doesn't keep me up at night? Is AI going to take over my job? Can I be replaced by AI?
No, I think we have to tell the truth, Tash. So Tash actually helped me with sales. When earlier this year, I wanted the businesses to grow. I was still bootstrapping, and I'm not a salesperson. I can do marketing because I have history in marketing and do a lot of digital stuff. I'll go to events, like I'll promote LaunchLemonade. But I was never a seller. I couldn't close. I could get the interest. So top of the funnel stuff, middle of the funnel stuff, I can do. Sleeping. But I didn't know how to convert. And so I called Tash and I said, Tash, sort me out. Like, how do I close a sale? And kid you not, a month or 2 months after working together, I landed the biggest deal of my consulting career.
Well, this is just a fantastic ad for TR Sales Consultancy.
Find yourself over to TR Sales Consultancy, book in a 30-minute free consult. No, I was so stoked. It was amazing.
Fantastic.
And very exciting.
So no.
Not just you, me too.
But I was able to scale Tash. So after we recorded all our calls, we transcribed everything, and I fed it into my AI. And then moving forward, I just used my tools for a lot of the stuff that I did after.
So first, we appreciate your candor because we do need to talk about this, right? Because research from the ONS as well as Microsoft carried out this huge report. There's all these other tech giants, LinkedIn as well. They've got all of this first-hand data that they've analysed, and they've shown that one of the biggest jobs most at risk is salespeople. So this is where definitely we need to talk about that with you. It's interesting you breaking down how you actually converted Tash into an AI system, so without hurting Tash's feelings too much.
We've talked about it.
How can you break that down for us? So even like you said, you had, I'm guessing like Fireflies, Otter on the call,
to transcribe the calls that you had.
Yeah, tell other people how they can recreate me.
There was an MIT study as well. I think this was the most recent one where they did an experiment, and they found that with the existing tools today, 11.7% of all white collar jobs can be replaced with AI today, just with the existing tools.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of jobs, work, tasks that can be replaced now, and we're gonna see that trajectory keep going up. And my prediction is by 2030, over half, at least half of all tasks will be replaced by AI, including sales.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going on about it the right way right now. Because how we're going on about it right now is we're buying tools from companies that assuming how sales should work, or how X should work, or Y should work. These tasks, they think that work looks like this, so buy this because this is a solution to you replacing some of your overhead costs or automating some of your work. What I think should happen is people like Tash, who are the experts of their field, who know what sales is, should be the ones building those agents and selling to these businesses, because that is what works. So my prediction is the tools that are being built today will deprecate because they don't work for businesses. What will happen are these experts that are being made redundant, being made, let go of from these companies, turn their knowledge and expertise into some sort of AI agent, and they sell that back to the businesses.
So building on that, what I want to ask is, like, clearly there are like repeatable, mundane, like the administrative tasks are the first ones that are going to get like replaced by AI, and we should be kind of thankful for that, because I think human brains, like, we can do more, we can do better. I've heard you speak before, Cien, about the importance of like connection, relationships in sales. How much of that is a comfort blanket that we're clinging to be like, oh no, there's still space for us, versus actually how legitimate? And therefore, if there is still a legitimate space, let's say by 2030, for those high EQ, relationship-driven individuals who know how to nurture and close those relationships, how then could the AI tools around them complement and supplement their superpowers?
Yeah, and we're seeing more of these like founder-led sales today. Like Sam Altman is still doing his thing. Sundar, like the CEO of Google, like all of these CEOs are actually building their brands because they know that they're part of that sales cycle, and not just for customers, but for investors as well.
Yeah.
So we do know that even though there's a lot of machine that operates around us, we still represent our product and people still buy from us. Now, whether we use AI tools to follow up messages to make sure that, we send them a reminder that we still exist, or maybe we have like, I don't know, some sort of marketing funnel where they see different touch points of us. My investors invested in me, not the product. So I think that, yes, we can surround ourselves with tools to make us more efficient, make us more visible. But at the end of the day, we're still an integral part of that sales cycle.
Quick interruption. We're sure that you are on the edge of your seats. At least we hope so. But just want to say, if you haven't already subscribed, then what are you waiting for? This is your opportunity. We are giving you a few moments to pull out your phone or wherever you're listening to this, hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you are listening. We're giving you that time now. It doesn't cost a single thing. And gang, honestly, it really helps us out. Doesn't cost a thing, takes 2 secs. Hit that button and it is a massive, massive support. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the episode.
Tash received a very creative outreach on LinkedIn the other day, which utilized AI, but not in a great way.
Yeah, I think because the first way that AI is going to take sales jobs is basically the thing that no one wants to do, which is outreach, because it sucks and it's hard and it's admin heavy. And so there are so many tools out there, and I'd be fascinated if there's any that you think are like legitimately very good, that can make that first stage really easy of like, not just list building, because any tool can list build at this point, but take that list and then create a personalized message. Because recently I had someone who they'd obviously used it to make a voice note, which is quite impressive. But you could hear the cut in between where there was like a pause and my name and then the rest of it. And then there was another one where, you know, you can tell that they've come up with some interesting things, but there's just something a little bit off about it that you can tell it wasn't written by a person. So I think that that's where it's going to go first. Any tools, mostly because I might go use them, that you're like, actually, they're doing a really, really good job of it right now?
This might be controversial. And again, I don't think that this is the best route, but this was the route that I went. I was blatant about my automation. Like any automated messages that I didn't personalize because I knew that it would suck. And I didn't personalize. And I told them this is an automated message or I'm sending this to everyone. So it was very clear.
That's so interesting. That's like when...
Spider-Man.
That's like when people will purposefully go hi first name and then the next line's like, no, I'm joking, but this is an automation. And I always think that's really funny.
I've never seen that. I was going to say, actually, the parallel is when you cold call sometimes and you're upfront about it and you're just like,
This is
you don't know who I am, like really refreshing. So I love those like really alternative takes. It's really funny.
Because it's obvious. Like any automated message right now is so obvious. Like they pull something from your LinkedIn. Oh, I can see that you're really big on AI and you're an AI enthusiast. So I'd like to interview you in my podcast about how you use AI in your business. I'm like,
yeah. That's the thing. And you know what? Even a step before AI, because I know LinkedIn introduced ages ago just the auto responses to messages. And even with like, it's a tiny detail, but it's enough of a giveaway. One of the auto responses, it would be like, thanks, Tash. Thanks, you know?
Yeah.
And with mine, if someone says, thanks, comma, Stephanie, just those two words, I'm like, I know you just pressed that button. Because, like, I'm Steph. It's the fact that, like, you're so grammatically correct that, like, you've put in the comma. And so there's another kind of interesting dichotomy there as well with like, oh, AI is so advanced and so intelligent. And you're like, yeah, but what do humans actually do? How do we actually write? How do we actually speak? Whether it was that voice note that you received or these, like you said, that example of that DM where it's like, this just isn't human.
yeah.
But then I guess the question is like, does it have, like, is that so puritanical to like have to like be human? If we know that it's AI and we all know and it's like the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not going to be the expert in this room around sales cycle, but I have been part of teams where we had a big ticket product and sales cycles would take forever. I would take every type of comms, whether it's AI generated or not, as part of a sales cycle.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to, you don't need to have that one perfect LinkedIn message. And a message that I automated to send as part of that sales cycle is just that. There are going to be different touch points before you convert a customer. So whether that's from the automated message that has my Calendly and now we're booked on a demo, then I'm built in that sales cycle, or I get them to subscribe to my newsletter and they're now subscribing to my newsletter. They see me as the writer of that newsletter, and that's still part of my sales cycle. I think we just have to be, like, if it's really clearly AI generated, that's never worked with me.
Exactly. I was going to say, because there's something about the sales cycle and all those touch points. I think we've all had those obviously AI generated comments on our LinkedIn posts.
Yeah.
And it's just so obvious. And we were just talking about trust building before, which is like I've said, even with this, you know, the voice notes is like, I'm not being a Luddite, but like, I'm not outsourcing my voice because I want people to know when they hear me, it's me.
Yeah.
Because it's the trust. So I think I'd love to get your take as well on like that tension point between efficiency and effectiveness with AI. And like some things, I'm all for efficiency and scaling up and outsourcing and all these other systems, but there's a time and a place and where and when to do that, especially in the sales cycle.
Yeah. And people, I think what people are doing now and where people are messing up are they're, this is a big word, confabulating. Is that the right?
Is it a bigger word than what was the word that you just used? Something I don't even remember what it was.
They're basically, there's a difference between pure automation and automation with AI. where we're messing it up is automation with AI. Automation has existed forever. Dripify, like all of these like automated workflows. These have existed forever and they have worked.
And we love you and please sponsor us.
Yes. I'm going to bleep every single thing you're saying out until you sponsor us.
Automation has existed forever. And you have small personalization features in there that could change the company name, the first name. And if you're smart about your product marketing and how you write, if you're fun, if you add value in these campaigns, even though they're not super personalized, they work.
Yeah. It's funny, and I'm going to get on a soapbox that is technically not about sales, but you've said something that I feel like is a message that a lot of people in the world need to hear. And that is that someone who is a mega AI specialist knows the power of it, knows how to use it really well, is like, people need to not over rely on AI. I mean, I've had people over the Christmas season say to me, oh, I wasn't sure what to get you, so I asked ChatGPT. And I was like,
interesting.
Oh, what the fuck? You've known me for such a long time. It blows my mind that you'd even have to do that. And, and I'll hear people say like, oh, well, I was wondering this thing, so I asked ChatGPT, or I got this message from someone, so I asked ChatGPT to tell me what the vibe was. What do you fucking mean? Read the fucking message. You know what the vibe is. You have eyes and emotions. And so it is very nice to hear someone who loves and knows AI to be like, okay, but also you can use your own brain.
Guilty of asking ChatGPT for gift ideas, but
can I just say, it was my sister.
The worst thing that I did was when I was still single and dating, I sent a breakup message using ChatGPT. This was 2 years ago.
No, do you know I've got a mate who does that? Yeah, when she's like, how can I? So I'm fascinated to hear what your prompt was, but she'll go like, I've gone on a single date with this guy and this was the thing that I didn't like. What is a nice way that I can tell him I'm not interested in having another date? ChatGPT gives her an answer.
Let me be clear though, with email campaigns, the automated messages, I use AI for a lot of things. But you can't use it, especially if you're improving your conversions. You can try to ask AI how you can improve it, but you still have to use your brain. Like, okay, how do I improve this message to this? Or like how you now know that using AI in your automation, like in a automated loop where the AI just comes up with its own message, you now know that it's easy to tell that it's using AI. But what if you drafted a campaign that you can send to everyone and you still can use AI, but you make sure that it doesn't sound like it's been generated by some sort of automated AI machine. Make it funny, add your brand in, like these things, that you have to add in your campaigns that we know are effective. You still use AI, but just know that people don't open those AI sounding LinkedIn messages.
Well, I was listening to a very good podcast recently where it was Steph was talking to Daniel about.
So I'm not going to assume.
You were talking about, there's all these courses nowadays that are like, you can build your own unicorn on your own using AI. And he made a very good point, which was you can only use AI to do something amazing if you already know what that thing is. So to your point with email outreach, I'll often say to my clients, okay, this is kind of what you need your emails to be. I want you to do a first crack because it's important to try. Come back and then we'll recreate it together. And nothing boils my blood more than when they show it to me and I'm like, okay, I don't mind that you asked ChatGPT. I really don't mind. However, did you look at it afterwards? And sometimes if I'm feeling really shitty, I'll get my wife to look and see if she can see the code copied from ChatGPT. Only if someone lies to me, because I don't like being lied to. But I'm like, I totally think that's a great idea. And I'll sometimes do it with a client if I'm struggling, like, okay, what should each of these emails be? What's the real USP that people need? But then you've got to edit it afterwards. You've got to change it afterwards before you put it out.
Just too obvious. And it kind of goes back to my point around like this tension between the puritanical versus being.
That was a very clever word that you...
Thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate my vocabulary on this one. Fucked up ONS before, but I'm really
you got puritanical in, so you're good.
That was the P word.
Yeah.
But it comes down to the effort and the trust which people appreciate. And this is where, again, whether it's like these LinkedIn comments, it's just like, it's just lazy. And I think I'm really looking forward to us moving beyond this gimmicky phase of like ChatGPT, like recommend a Christmas gift for someone I've known all my life, or how to break up with someone.
Now I feel like I'm shitting too hard on my sister. I'm going to have to apologise to her before this one comes out.
But it's the same as, so when I very first started going out with my partner of now like 15 years, so obviously like way like predating AI, he used to just do this thing automatically. It was just a habit. He wasn't really, I don't think he was even too aware that he was doing it, but it used to really get on my tits, which was if he didn't remember something, we'd talk and be like, oh, what's his name or whatever, just immediately would whip out his phone and Google it. And I hated it. I was like, wait, like at least give yourself a chance. Like give yourself a minute to get the neurons firing, like give it a sec to try and remember. And I feel like this is where we're at now with just like defaulting to ChatGPT with anything that, whether it's like fun, silly, low stakes, or just like, or indeed if it is a sales campaign, but it's like, it's just this total outsourcing of our creativity, our originality, and it's exactly as you said. I'm really glad that you listened into the interview I did with Daniel. It needs a prompt, it needs an instruction. You still need to exercise your brain in a different way to then put it in.
And find the right tool.
Yeah.
Because I've got a cheeky question actually, seeing as I've got you in the room. So every now and again, I'll be like, I want to make an incredibly niche list of people. And there's only so much that some of the tools that we use, which I'm not going to mention because you're not sponsoring us yet. I have found that on occasion you can go to like ChatGPT and say, okay, make me a list of all the top female founders that just raised blah, blah, blah based in the UK. But it's a bit hit and miss. I've heard people say that there are other AI chatbots that might be better at that. Which one would you recommend?
I would try building a workflow instead of just one, like kind of like using.
I would like everyone noted what's about to happen is Shen's about to sell her product, and I think we can all just say that that's maybe. She had some really... Yeah, I could create a workflow. Tell me how that would work.
No, actually, I was going to say a proper, like not just... You could use LaunchLemonade.
No, I would like to use LaunchLemonade. How would I do it with LaunchLemonade?
So on LaunchLemonade, we're actually building a marketplace, and we're using a product, a kind of like a scraping tool called Appify. And then in Appify, you can connect a language model on LaunchLemonade with either kind of like a LinkedIn database or a Apollo database or Google Maps or whatever type of database they have it. Like they have so much applications that you can connect your LLM with or your language model. And you can produce any type of deep research, whether it's deep research of leads, of locations, of a list of businesses, a list of TikTok accounts, anything. And it's still a little technical to do this by yourself, but that's why we're making it simple on LaunchLemonade. You just tell us what you want and we'll give you that list.
Yeah. And then if I wanted to go beyond, I could even start, putting together what maybe the general idea of those messages should be. And
yeah. So I have a workflow where I used 5 different language models in a work and what we call a flow. And you have Gemini, the model from Google, would find marketing agencies in London. And then the next step would find information about those marketing agencies that will be relevant to my prospecting. And then the next step would be conduct a SWOT analysis of each of those companies based on what you find on the research. And then the last step would be put together a direct message based on the SWOT analysis that we found what's a direct cold outreach message that we can send on LinkedIn.
Which tool's doing the SWOT analysis, sorry? Is that a different one to Gemini?
Yeah, DeepSeek. I use DeepSeek for the SWOT analysis.
And then what do you use to copyright the email outreach? Right answer, which I think I probably learned from you in the first place anyway. Yeah, but having tried a few, I'm just like Claude for any copywriting. 100%, not ChatGPT.
Yeah. And you just connect them together and then you run just like you don't need different tabs or windows. They just run on one page.
That's really interesting. Glad that you broke that down on kind of the whole sequence and different tools along the way. Something else I wanted to talk to you about is agentic AI. So what you've sort of described here, I don't know if this is exactly the same, but it sounds to me like it's a workflow automation process with all this mix of tools through LaunchLemonade that you can plug into the sequence. But then agentic AI, where you give it the same sort of commands, it goes out, it carries out the task for you. We've encountered from a sales perspective is that more and more people are starting to use agentic tools in their inboxes. So an assistant that sorts through what's spam, what's cold outreach, what do I need to follow up with, what can wait, etc., etc. This has changed the game as it relates to getting past the gatekeeper for salespeople. So one thing is overcoming like spam filters, especially when we're just talking about emails. A, have you ever heard of this before? And B, what advice could you give to help salespeople overcome these AI agents?
Tell me how I can do sales better despite AI. We are cavemen. We just want to bang on door, get meeting, leave money.
No, but it's an interesting question. And what we're actually building on LaunchLemonade, why we fundraised, is we want a simple, easy to use marketplace where agents can collaborate together. So we think that the future is not just an agent that lives on your mailbox and sorts your mail, but it's an agent that can work with another person's agent. So maybe your salesperson would have an agent that sends an email to your mailbox, and your mailbox agent would look at the agent's email and then filter that email. I believe that by 2030, 50%, at least 50% of all those tasks will be replaced by AI. These agents can't be doing their work in silo. They will be collaborating together. They will be transacting. They will be working together on different things. Your business's agents will be working with my AI agents to book something or to buy something or to transact. So, your sales AI, that could be an email AI, or my sales efforts could be blocked by your AI agent. But I think the technology will just figure out optimizations in a way to, circumnavigate the filtering. Another AI will just say, "Oh, I'm gonna create emails that don't get filtered."
And I wonder if almost it would get to a point where if that AI that's looking through the emails, if it's connected to like your strategy KPI page being like, actually it could almost help salespeople in the future. This cold sales email is actually to do and is promising the numbers. So maybe you should look at it. I'd never thought about it in that right now we're very much at that first step of, okay, cold email or whatever. But actually it could be a good thing in the future that it then goes, okay, actually, yeah, you should read this cold email because it's linked to your priority list.
Yeah. It's all going to get better. If whoever is selling is realizing that none of the emails are getting opened and none of it's converting, you're going to come up with another way too. And I think sales will look entirely different by the time that agents will be deciding what business to buy from.
Give us your hot takes then. You've given us your AI predictions for 2030. What does the sales landscape look like in 2030?
We think it's going to be driven by some sort of matrix scoring. So, and we're designing this. And that matrix scoring is something that is like Amazon reviews and transaction history. There are a lot of applications out there now, especially in finance, where once you enter your email address, they look at the age of that email address, transaction history of that email address, how many Airbnbs have you booked in the last 5 years? Or do you have an Amazon account? Do you have a GitHub account? And then with all that data, these banking and fintech applications now, they would ascertain how kind of like risky you are as an applicant. Are you high risk, low risk? Are you a bad actor, a good actor? And I think it's going to work this way as well, where agents would look at your credibility score, like how many tasks have you completed? Which companies have you worked for? What language model are you using? Is it a Grok model? Is it a ChatGPT model? Is it a Claude model? So I think there's going to be some sort of matrix scoring that agents would look at and score other agents before collaborating together.
I guess then the good news is that there's different layers of salespeople that will lose their jobs first. I'm hearing SaaS, you guys are buggered. Pretty soon, you're out of there. They don't need it. They're just going to see the results. Does it work? What's the reviews? Easy. Public service provider, still got a little bit. We've got, don't worry, it's fine for all our service providers. We're going to be fine. But also, I think that so many more people are having to become salespeople that never had to be before as well. So it's one of those things. I think every time people talk about AI taking jobs, there's always this massive, and this is why I'm not scared and why I was never offended. In fact, the only thing I didn't like about your little AI version of me is that you yassified her. She had like eyelashes, little pink cheeks. She made straight AI Tash. And that I felt was offensive. It wasn't like outwardly homophobic, but I guess it kind of just was like homo nervous.
Homo nervous.
No, so we were in this like master class, and I showed the people my Tash AI agents.
Hilarious. That's my ab workout for the day.
Horrified. But I think the big thing that, and why I'm not scared and why I don't think that people should be scared, sort of to put a reassuring bow on the fact that 50% of us could have our tasks replaced easily by 2030, is AI does not take your job. It makes elements of your job easier. So if suddenly the thing that all salespeople hate doing, which is outreach, is suddenly replaced, if 50% of a salesperson's job is replaced and that 50% is outreach and let's say follow-ups, they still need to pitch. They still need to close. They still need to create, well, and actually maybe they probably don't need to make contracts anymore. But account management, looking after people, there are still going to be elements, and it means that instead of spending all your time on minutiae, I can use big words. Okay, don't like how hard you both laughed at that one. I did really well with my theatre and performance degree at university. Thank you very much. I scraped a 2-2. Anyway, you can just be better at all the other stuff. Like, if I'm not worrying about that crap, I can be so much better at pitching.
So this is a really good point. I think we're bogged down by the tasks AI replaces.
Minutia, I think.
Yeah, the minutiae.
But we're not, the objective that isn't the task itself. Like, you can achieve the same outcome by doing other things. Right now, how we sell looks like this, but how we sell in the future will look different. So there are other things that you're going to have to learn to sell, but the selling doesn't change. Like, we will always have to sell. Agents will have to sell. So I think that, Tash should be able to sell services around training agents to sell. I think that's going to
me.
Yeah, you're going to help agents train
the AI models.
Yeah, so that they know how to sell. So if I had a business and I have a sales agent so that I can sell to that business's thing, I'm like, hey, Tash, can you train this model for me? Can we get some information from you? Can you sell your data to us? And can you test the AI for this and that and this? I think that's going to be a future job of salespeople.
Okay, yeah, I'll put that in my 2030 project plan then. I quite like that, actually, yeah.
It's just going to look different, but the role is there. The objective is the same, but the tasks to achieve that goal could look different.
Right, you're so right, because 20 years ago, a sales trainer would sit and say to someone, this is so funny because I was about to say, you need to hammer the phones, you need to go out and meet people in person, knock the door. And then actually that is what I now say to people because all the online stuff has become too noisy. But then I think at a certain point, it comes and goes in trends. But yeah, 20 years ago, they wouldn't have even known what email automation was. Or maybe they would, but I had a really old school sales trainer 20 years ago. No, I was 10. It was my dad. But, you know, like, it wasn't even something that people really thought about. So I think we just need to learn and embed it into our lives. Yes.
And it depends on what you're selling, right? Like, I can see a world in 2030, not maybe 2030 is too soon, but like 2040, when people are hungry of kind of like that human connection, that it might be a luxury for someone to knock on your door and we will welcome the chat. And
you're human.
Yeah, exactly.
That could happen.
Yeah. And now, well, actually, there's nothing that I hate more than when people try and sell me things, but knocking on my door. Except for there's one man, the fish man. He comes and knocks on my door maybe once a month, so you never know when he's coming, and he just goes, I've got a van full of fish. What do you want? And you know what? Lovely. Lovely fish.
Yeah.
Straight to your door. So it works. Yeah, it's really good. It is. It's really good. It's really good fish.
A regular dose of microplastics delivered straight to your door.
Van to door.
Oh, hilarious. Shen, I always feel like whenever I spend any time with you, I'm left feeling so much more optimistic about the... She shared all this good news and how it looks in the future. Any other kind of practical tools, tips? I really want to make sure, you know, listeners can like test something new, execute. Like, I think that always learning mindset is so important, especially with AI. Like, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Experiment. Try out different things.
You want to participate in this economy of AI agents, this new economy. We need to participate by having our own AI agents that can monetize for us. That's one thing. But how can we make that happen? The first thing that you have to do is to transcribe your knowledge. You want to turn your expertise or what you're curious about, your experiences into some sort of database. So you can transcribe it, open your voice note, just talk out loud or diarize, take a picture of your diary and then put it into some sort of digital database and train a language model so that you can turn what you know into something that you can sell back to businesses. Are you a growth expert? Are you a Instagram expert? Are you an operations expert? Are you a sales expert? And what do you know?
Definitely given me an idea. Could I? This is a question. If I wanted to make some passive income and I did this, I created my own mini Tash. Is that something that I could, like, after I finish working with people saying, look, this is a thing you should buy, like plug in? I'm an idiot, by the way, when it comes to tag.
I'm offended because we worked together for a while. But what I did...
to know tech to be really good at sales.
Oh, so what I did was I stored all our conversations and I stored the decks that you gave me.
Yeah.
And then I fed it into an AI. And then every time I have a question, I ask, what would Tash do?
Thank you.
It's a 24/7 pocket that I have. I also have a Dan Kahneman one. So I don't, if you know Dan Kahneman, he's a behavioral scientist, first Nobel Prize winner in I think behavioral economics.
Yeah.
So I have pocket experts when I'm not sure what to email or when I'm not sure how to frame a message. I open my pocket sales coach and my Dan Kahneman and my, experts. So I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah. So it's literally, so like I could recreate what you've already created.
But with you.
But me.
Yeah.
And I could sell that on as like a little passive mini Tash.
That is what the future is going to be like.
I like
it's
that.
Still you.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
But it's just productized.
Yeah, well, because I love when my clients are like, hey, Tash, I've got a question. Can I just whatever? But there will come a certain point where it's not possible for me to be that for everyone.
Exactly. Imagine if it was a chat bot that they can just whip out their phone like, hey, Tash, instead of actually calling you.
Yeah.
Hey, Tash, I got this message. How can I respond to this?
I like it. Yeah. All right. I'll make a little AI Tash.
You need to build your statements, build your templates, make sure that they're accessible.
Okay.
And I am definitely building a mini Scott Galloway. Definitely want Prof G in my pocket, 100%. One thing that came up was the reluctant to upload our data, especially with that example you gave with like taking photos of like diary. So I totally see that it's a cost benefit analysis. Like I can see the upside, but what advice would you give to people who are feeling a lot more precious about their privacy, their data, uploading all of this? Like, is the juice worth the squeeze here?
I get asked this all the time.
I bet you do.
Yeah. My first answer is, as a Filipino woman, and because I know that my data isn't well represented in these data sets, I actively, personal choice, I'm not saying that you guys should do it, I actively opt in getting my data trained.
I never, and this is why it is so important to hear like different people, because I would have never thought or recognized that in a million. I mean, I know that AI is racist. Often it can be. So yeah, really interesting.
It's a lack of data sets, right? So AI doesn't, these language models don't have enough data on certain demographics. A lot of kind of like the products that are building in health right now are trained in, a lot of health data, but women are not often well represented in these data sets, or Asian women or whatever, so I actively allow models to train on my data. Now, how we built Launch Lemonade is we don't allow the models to train our data because we have that we know that small to medium sized businesses aren't well informed in terms of like what data to process, how to secure the data. So we've made it secure, but when I'm using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, I opt in for train on me. Here's my data. So that's one thing. Now, if you've got apprehensions or concerns about your data, there are many things that you can do. One, don't upload any personal PII data. So personal identifiable information. That includes email addresses and home addresses. So if you have someone's email address and their home address, it's them. Yeah. So
doesn't your VPN identify your location though, or it's just not specific enough?
The VPN doesn't get sent to the actual chat interface. Like your IP address doesn't get sent. It's just what you input.
Yeah.
So you can do that. So I come from finance, so I know, the difference between what data I should remove in the input, whether, again, any identifiable data, any sensitive data for your business, you can remove that. And you have the choice. You don't have to feed everything. Think about the product that you want to build and then choose the knowledge related to that product and go from there.
I guess like your knowledge or expertise isn't going to cause like that much of a threat, but I can imagine for a lot of people that's still something to overcome, right? Especially if they charge for it, if that's how they make a living. They're like, well, I'm going to like upload this all to the cloud and give it away for free. What does come to mind, and we don't have time to talk about this, and I know I'll be bringing the tone down a bit, but it's the people who are in charge of this as well, which is like one of the very many reasons why it's so wonderful to have like a Filipino woman running an AI startup at the moment, because again, like in such a tiny minority, but it's like the male pale and stale, like corrupt billionaires that are running the show with this, like especially on this subject of like trust and what's going on is like we've seen how that's been abused and manipulated in the past and the political connections and everything else. So
now we know that women of all race and sexuality can also be corrupt billionaires too, and it's important that we all try to achieve this.
Women in male-dominated fields. Shen, go and be a corrupt billionaire.
Shen.
I love it. I love whenever I see like a woman on the top most wanted FBI list, I'm like, yeah, women in male-dominated fields. I love it. This is why Tash and I are the perfect duo. I go deep and heavy and dark, and Tash brings it right the way back up again. I love it.
I'm going to be I'm very uncomfortable. Let's be silly.
Tash, I know you wanted to ask about, we've talked a lot about AI in sales, but what about sales in AI?
Yes. Okay. I'll hit you with one last question, which is, everyone always has different objections when it comes to sales. I have found that, especially when it comes to AI companies selling, they have to spend unbelievable amounts of time building trust for people. And I guess it kind of ties into the data question. But what is for anyone who's watching that's like a head of an AI company, when someone says to you, I don't know if I can trust, especially with your consultant hat on, I don't know if I can trust putting AI into my business. How do you overcome that objection? What's the reassurance that you give people?
Businesses never come to me to solve just the AI. Like I have an AI problem. It's not that. I have a efficiency problem. I have a conversion problem. And then you say, well, we can solve that with AI. So businesses come to me to say, these are the problems that I have. How do we solve it with AI? And you can start your conversations with that. You don't just offer an AI solution. You offer a solution to the business problems. It just happens to be AI powered.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, especially, we're sat here recording this, like, at the end of 25. This is out in 2026, but it is AI, every bloody where you look, everywhere you turn. And what that has meant is, with such an oversaturation, there's all the rumours of this being an AI bubble, is that it's like, oh, another AI comment. It's like, so I think there's that kind of cynicism that comes in with, like, if you've got an AI, so it's like, okay, well, what is this just like a ChatGPT wrapper? Like, so I think there's that, like, taking it seriously if you're building an AI startup.
Lovable is $1 billion company, and that is a wrapper.
Great response.
Cursor, base 44. There's so many AI wrappers that are like unicorn startups in 8 months and a year of being conceptualized. Another big word.
I can't wait to go home and play Wordle. I'm going to smash it.
Game of Scrabble with Sophia.
Oh, I'm going to win.
What is it? We've had minutiae. What was my P one again?
I don't know.
I can't remember them now. Hilarious.
Oh, but that's such a good answer. Like, there's no... Sometimes you need the big fancy sales answer. Sometimes you need the longest explanation and all of that. And sometimes you just need to go, okay, but what about lovable?
Point at the facts.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shen, thank you so much for being our first official guest on the S Word. I'm going to suggest a closing traditional challenge. I'm going to start potentially a new tradition here, given that this is a sales show. Shen.
No idea what she's doing.
Tash has no idea. Shen definitely has no idea. Given that this is all about the dirty word in business, sales.
No, I know exactly what you're about to do.
If you're not watching this on video, I'm handing Shen a pen.
Ah, that's fun.
Shen, sell us this pen.
Let me just ask ChatGPT.
No, do it. Ask ChatGPT, how would you sell this pen? Go on, that's how you do it.
Hello.
Hello, you've reached LaunchLemonade. I'm your virtual sales assistant. Which language would you like to continue in? I can assist you in...
So we're going to use English, but I need your help right now. So I'm being challenged to sell a pen. How would you go on about selling a pen?
Selling a pen, effectively, involves focusing on its features and the benefits it provides to the user. Here's how I would approach it. 1. Understand the customer's needs. Ask questions like, what do you primarily use pens for? Or, what qualities do you look for in a pen? This helps tailor the pitch to their specific needs. 2. Highlight the pen.
Can you pretend like you're selling the pen? Just give me a couple of lines to win the deal or to seal the deal.
Imagine you're at a crucial meeting and need to jot down a brilliant idea. With this pen, you're not just writing words, you're making a mark. Sleek, reliable, and smooth. It's the perfect companion for your thoughts. Shall we make it yours today?
Do you know what really annoys me? I'm sure everyone listening to this obviously listened to my episode with Steph before, but Steph asked me to sell the pen and I literally did the exact thing. I was like, you know how you've got that we were talking about a big contract, you've got that massive contract you want to sign. Imagine if you were about to get it sent to you and you didn't have a pen available. Right now, I've got the pen that you need. It's full of ink. It's perfect. It's from a unicorn. So it's literally exactly what she just did.
What I would do is ask Tash. Tash, can you look at my instructions and train my AI for me so that it improves better? So that could be.
Next job.
It's a deal.
Well done. Shen, thank you for coming on. Of course, classic, you'd have to pull out your AI to try and sell us this pen. That was very effective.
That was very good.
Thank you so
Very
much.
good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed it, why have you not already hit that like and follow button?
They were distracted by how funny and attractive you are.
If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. Big support. Really hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, then we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
We have broken bread.
She's my friend. I don't know if I'm her friend.
Ow.
Simon was
Oh,
just
wow.
looking for his phone.
Ow.
Whose phone is that? Is it your mum?
Getting a call from Kiwi. It's not my mum.
Simon was looking for his phone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow.
This is hilarious. He was looking for his phone.